How do you be confident? How do you be comfortable? How do you have your own opinion? How do you be an assertive individual? Now, these are things that I've developed over the years. A lot of testing, a lot of iterating. In high school, I would kind of get feedback that would say like, I'm either this or I'm that, or I'm rude or whatever. And a lot of times I would just be joking a lot, but maybe I was too sarcastic. And so I'd run into issues like that. So I had to throttle that back. What I naturally figured out is that I tend to like to be around people that are close friends and family, because then I can really be myself. And now I've kind of evolved to a point where I can really modulate what I do and say in different situations, whether it's talking to investors or partners or this, or talking to someone I just met, or whether I'm at the coffee bar and I'm talking to actual customers, or if we're at events I'm talking to customers. I can definitely modulate my pitch. I can modulate the things I say. I can modulate my tone. I can modulate how fast or how slow I talk. I can modulate how I listen, turn my head like that. Right? These are all things that really you learn the hard way over years and years of doing this. But if you start constantly thinking about it, like when I started recording YouTube more, I have to, even now, I got to pause more. I got to take my time more. And these are things that you learn, again, through practice. Now, I'm doing a video a day. I have a lot of practice with the speaking aspect of this. This does not come naturally. And a lot of times I want to just let my head bounce around, and I want to ramble on. I want to talk really fast, etc. So today's video is all about how do you come across to people, and how to think about how you're coming across to people, but also how to have some goals for how you want to come across. If you think of your person as like a little mini brand, you have a message, you have maybe a way you want to be perceived. We all think that way. And it might change whether you're at work or at home or whatever. But fundamentally, everybody wants to be more confident and assertive. I mean, I can't really imagine how you'd not want to be that. But generally, we want to be able to be more comfortable in our own skin. Maybe that's a better way to put it, which is connected to confidence. But we also want to be able to offer our opinion out there and not be so hung up in what people are going to do, say, or think as in response to that. Now, obviously, getting on YouTube, getting on social media, this will help you develop a thick skin, but I don't even think thick skin is the real thing that you want to develop, because it kind of almost makes it sound like you're just trying to ignore the feedback and be okay with it. And I think you can get into this trap where you pretend you're okay with it, but if you don't really maybe take it in and be willing to take it in and just kind of be okay with it, you can run into a lot of issues with that. It's almost like a fake confidence, if that makes any sense. So today I'm going to give you a few tips about my style and the things that I've learned over the years about just how to be more confident, and also, probably the number one tips that I use when I do get challenged or I get negative feedback, and what I do to kind of turn it into a positive. Let's get to it. Now, I've been actively trying to tell myself to not care what the world thinks. I am constantly trying to put myself out there more, do things like that, and just live my truth, right? And we should all be living our truth. And that starts, what I found, is with really identifying the core things that you believe and the things that you want to put out into the world. Now, I don't engage with negativity or with negative people or surround myself with people like that in any way whatsoever. And fundamentally also, though, because I've had a lot of practice with this, because I'm very aware of it, right? And that's really the first tip. Become aware of what your values are, your standards, so that when you're put in situations, you can be the leader and direct them. And so what I was going to say is that if I am put in a situation where people are being negative or gossiping or whatever, I have no problem whatsoever, and even if this rubs people the wrong way at times, saying, we're going to change the subject. I want to talk about something else, right? Or why are we wasting our time on this? Use the Socratic method, things like that. Now, you will get practice the more you do this. You will get better at it. But even if you don't want to blatantly go out there and say, we shouldn't talk about this, like maybe you're not comfortable doing that just yet, what you can do is you can steer the conversation in a different manner, or get up and walk away. You don't have to be a jerk about it. You can be very civil. You can even be crafty, where you just steer it into the direction you want to go. You have to do this. You can't just let people fill your head with their negativity, or let the news fill your head with negativity, or let gossip and reality TV or whatever fill your head with negativity. You have to change the channel, turn it off, go do something else, replace it with something else. If you eat lunch with your coworkers and they bitch and moan and gossip the whole time, you need to go somewhere else. Or before you do that, try to shift the conversation and create a new standard, where a new standard is you're talking about things that are upbeat or positive or cool or whatever. And you can really change the dynamics of a group if you actively put effort into doing that. It doesn't happen overnight. It's definitely a process. And so you have to ask yourself Is it worth it to invest in this? Some groups are too far gone. The example I always remember is like this group of middle-aged women that had a fitness group, and this one female in this group started getting results, and she got invited less to their group, and then at one point they even told her to not come around anymore to their group because they were basically making them look bad. Now, that's an example of a very strong groupthink, closed-minded type of situation, but it does happen quite a bit. A lot of times groups that are very solid in their belief system or want to feel comfortable in what they believe and like their egos and all management and all this nonsense, like if you stick out too much, you will be ostracized from that group. You should always try to actively be the leader in things. And so with tips like this, and what I've learned over the years is I tend to lead, I tend to take that path. So in conversations, I'll tend to take the leadership role. And people will just kind of fall in. They won't always like what I have to say, and you find that a lot. Sometimes I get a little bit ranty, sometimes I get a little bit aggressive, and I've learned to have to modulate that depending on the situation and the time. Sometimes I'm more aggressive with it, sometimes I'm less, sometimes a little bit motivational, sometimes I ask people questions and I just sit back and listen. There's a lot of different ways to go about this, but for today, the first thing that you can do is become self-aware of the things that you're allowing into your life and that you're allowed to come into your mind. Now, this video could be a lot longer, so I'm going to actually keep it short today and just give you kind of two things. I'm gonna do a whole series on this. Maybe for the next week, I'll just do a series about confidence and becoming your own, becoming comfortable in your skin and whatever. And so the other tip that I wanted to give that I talked to today with some of our clients is, be willing to shrug your shoulders and be willing to say, I don't know, I haven't thought about it. Now, this is extremely powerful. Everybody feels like they have to come up with some quick response to have an opinion on everything. Like, I don't pay attention to politics at all. So when somebody comes at me with it, are you this, are you that, or whatever, I'm like, I don't know, I don't really pay attention. Or if it's a very specific issue, if I haven't thought about it, I'm okay saying, I'm not sure, I haven't thought about that. This also implies to people that you should think about things, and you should, and most people don't. So it's a little jarring, but it's also opening. It maybe opens some eyes, maybe open some minds, hopefully. Be willing to not have an opinion on things. Be self-aware of what's around you and what you're letting into your life, and start actively controlling that. And then be willing to shrug your shoulders, say, I don't know, and change the subject. It's super powerful. You start doing these type of things, you will naturally become a leader because people will come to understand that you don't just go along for the ride and let people talk and bitch and moan about whatever they want to do. You actively get in there and you try turning into the direction you want to go. And that is super powerful. When you do that enough, do that for a few months, you start becoming more confident in conversations. You start becoming more confident around people, whether it's work, home, family, whatever. And what you'll learn when you do this often enough and you're around people often enough, even paying attention to yourself often enough, is people are very easily influenced, but it has to be very subtle. You can't just go to someone and attack them and say all these things, say they should do this or whatever. You have to be very crafty and sneaky with it even. Add a few comments here and there. Ask a few questions here and there. Casually change the conversation here and there. And you do this enough, they will shift and the momentum will change. And so that's it for today on this topic. I'm going to record a bunch more videos on this topic. I'm going to also do some things for guys and how you can specifically be more confident and attracted to the opposite sex, etc. These tips are pretty much universal because everybody likes confident people. It's just more attractive. It's something that we're drawn to. We're drawn to people that are confident and comfortable in their own skin and that are, that have opinions, that are resolute in them. And we establish trust when people say, I don't know, because it shows that they're human and we're more likely to trust them. Be willing to say that. And also be willing to know it and be okay with not knowing. It's super, super powerful for opening your mind and increasing your level of awareness, and thus you then get more information to come in, and then you level up, and then maybe you will have an opinion eventually. Okay, so my name is Colin, I'm the Wild CEO. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content like this. If you're interested in superfood ingredients from small producers around the world, then you'll probably like my company, Wild Foods. Go over to wildfoods.co and use code WILDCEO for 12% off. And my new project, the Tribe 10K, which you can find the podcast on iTunes and over at tribe10k.com. If you want to learn how to build a business, if you want to monetize and turn passion into profits, go check it out. Thanks for watching.